Commander Park Jin-woo looked out at the moon's surface through the small window of the spacecraft. The gray dust and rock stretched out forever under the black sky. He had been to space many times before, but the moon always made him feel small. Today was different, though. Today they were going to build something that would last. "Commander, I'm seeing something strange on the sensors," said Dr. Kim Nari from her seat. She was the team's rock expert, and she knew the moon better than anyone. Her fingers moved quickly over the control screen. "There's metal down there. A lot of metal." Lieutenant Han Woojin turned from the pilot controls. "Metal? On the moon? That doesn't make sense." Dr. Lee Sora leaned over to look at Nari's screen. As the team's engineer, she understood machines better than most people. "The readings are huge. Whatever is down there is bigger than our entire ship." Jinwoo felt his heart beat faster. They were here to set up a research station near the moon's South Pole. Finding metal was not part of the plan. "Show me," he said. Nari pointed to a spot on her screen. "Shackleton Crater. The metal readings are coming from inside the crater wall, but look at this." She pressed more buttons. "The metal goes deep, really deep in the shape." She stopped talking. "What about the shape?" Jinwoo asked. "It's not natural. It looks like it was made by someone." The 4 crew members looked at each other. They all knew what this could mean, but none of them wanted to say it out loud. Woojin spoke first. "Should we call Earth?" "Not yet," Jinwoo said. "Let's take a closer look first. We could be wrong." They changed course toward Shackleton Crater. As they got closer, their instruments showed more details. The metal object was huge. It was at least 10 times bigger than their ship. Maybe more. "There," Sora pointed out the window. "Do you see that?" At first it looked like just another hill, covered in moon dust. But as they flew closer, they could see the dust was not sitting right. It was covering something underneath, something with smooth curves and strange angles. "That's not a rock," Nari whispered. They landed their ship about half a mile away from the object. "Safety first," Jinwoo always said. They put on their space suits and prepared to walk outside. The moon had no air, so they would need to be careful. "Stay close together," Jinwoo told his team. "We don't know what this thing is." They walked across the moon's surface toward the mysterious object. Their boots made no sound in the airless world. The only sounds they could hear were their own breathing and the radio chatter between them. As they got closer, the object became more clear. It was definitely not natural. The surface was smooth like glass, but it seemed to change color as they moved around it. Sometimes it looked silver, sometimes dark blue, sometimes like it wasn't there at all. "My instruments are going crazy," Sora said. "This material, I've never seen readings like this." Nari was taking pictures with her camera. "Look at these curves, they're perfect. Too perfect. No natural process could make something like this." They walked along the edge of the object. It seemed to go on forever. After an hour of walking, they realized they had only seen a small part of it. "This thing is enormous," Woojin said. "It must be a mile long, maybe longer." Jinwoo felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold of space. "Team, I think we need to accept what we're looking at here. This is a ship, a spacecraft, and it's not from Earth." The words hung in the radio silence for a long moment. "But that's impossible," Sora said. "We're the only ones who can build spaceships." "Are we?" Nari asked quietly. They spent the next few hours examining the ship. The more they looked, the stranger it became. There were no windows they could see, no doors, no engines, nothing that looked familiar. "How does it fly without engines?" Woojin wondered. "Maybe the engines are hidden," Sora suggested. "Or maybe they work in a way we don't understand." Nari was studying the surface of the ship with her tools. "This material is incredible. It's harder than diamond, but when I touch it, it feels soft. That should be impossible." "A lot of things about this ship seem impossible," Jinwoo said. As the day went on, they made more discoveries. The ship was old, very old. Nari's tests suggested it had been buried under moon dust for millions of years. but somehow it was still in perfect condition. "Commander," Sora called out. She was standing near what might have been the front of the ship. "You need to see this." They all gathered around Sora. She was holding her scanner close to the ship's surface. "What is it?" Jinwoo asked. "Energy," Sora said. "There's still energy inside this thing. It's very faint, but it's there. This ship isn't dead. It's sleeping." Wu Jin took a step back. "Sleeping?" "That's the only word for it," Sora explained. "Like a computer that's been turned off but still plugged in, ready to wake up." They looked at the massive ship with new eyes. It wasn't just an old piece of metal. It was a sleeping giant. "We need to call Earth," Jinwoo said. "This is bigger than us." They returned to their own ship and sent a message to Earth. It would take time for the message to travel through space, and more time for Earth to respond. But Jinwoo knew that soon, everything would change. That night, as they waited for Earth's response, they took turns watching the alien ship. It sat there in the crater, covered in ancient dust, keeping its secrets. "Do you think there's anyone inside?" Nari asked. "I don't know," Jinwoo replied, "but I think we're going to find out." As he watched the ship through their telescope, Jinwoo thought he saw something. Just for a moment it looked like a light had flickered deep inside the vessel, but when he looked again, everything was dark. He didn't tell the others about the light. Not yet. But he knew that their simple mission to build a research station had become something much more important. They had found proof that humans were not alone in the universe. And maybe, just maybe, they were about to wake up something that had been sleeping for a very long time. 3 weeks later, another ship arrived from Earth. Dr. Choi Minho was the first person to step out onto the moon's surface. He was one of Earth's best scientists, and he brought with him the most advanced tools that humans had ever made. Captain Yoon Jisoo came next. She was a soldier, and her job was to keep everyone safe. She looked at the alien ship in the distance and checked her weapons. She hoped she wouldn't need them. "It's even bigger than the pictures showed," Minho said as they walked toward the ship. He carried a bag full of scientific instruments. "The pictures don't show everything," Jinwoo told him. "Wait until you touch it." They had built a small camp near the ship. For 3 weeks, Jinwoo's team had been studying the vessel from the outside. Now, with better tools and more people, they could learn more. Minho placed his first instrument against the ship's surface. The screen lit up with numbers and graphs that made no sense. "This is impossible," he said. "According to these readings, this material is stronger than anything we know. But watch this." He pushed against the surface with his hand. The hard metal bent like rubber under his fingers. "We noticed that too," Sora said. "It changes depending on what touches it." "That shouldn't be possible." Minho shook his head. "Materials don't work that way." Jisoo was walking around the ship with her own instruments. She was looking for weak spots or hidden doors. "This thing has no weapons that I can see," she reported, "but that doesn't mean it's safe." Over the next few days, the team made discovery after discovery. Each one was more confusing than the last. The ship's hull was made of elements that didn't exist on Earth. Minho's tests showed materials that weren't on any scientific chart. "It's like they found new ways to make matter itself," he explained. "Look at this," Nari called out. She was standing near what they thought might be an engine room. Her gravity detector was spinning wildly. "Gravity is different here. It's stronger in some places and weaker in others." "That's not possible," Minho said, but he came to look anyway. His own instruments confirmed what Nari had found. "Gravity doesn't work like that. It should be the same everywhere." Sora made an even stranger discovery. She had been mapping the inside of the ship using sound waves. "According to my scans, this ship is bigger inside than outside." The others stared at her. "That makes no sense," Wu Jin said. "I know it makes no sense," Sora replied. "But look at the data. The outside of the ship is about 2 miles long. The inside space is at least 4 miles long, maybe more." "Your instruments must be broken," Jisoo suggested. "I thought so too. So I tested them on our own ship. They work fine. This alien ship really is bigger inside than outside. Minho sat down on a rock and put his head in his hands. Everything I know about physics says this is impossible. Maybe our physics are wrong, Jinwoo suggested. Maybe these aliens know things we don't. They kept working. Each day brought new mysteries. They found energy lines running through the ship that seemed to carry power without any source. They found computer systems that looked more like living tissue than machines. They found rooms that changed size when nobody was looking. I'm starting to think this ship doesn't follow our rules, Nari said one evening. They were sitting around, their camp looking up at the stars. What do you mean? Jisoo asked. Our rules about how things work, Nari explained. Physics, chemistry, engineering. This ship was built by someone who knew different rules. Minho nodded slowly. She might be right. We're trying to understand alien technology using human knowledge. Maybe that's the problem. So how do we figure it out? Woojin asked. Jinwoo had been thinking about this problem for days. Maybe we stop trying to understand it and start trying to feel it. Feel it? Sora looked confused. Think about it, Jinwoo said. Humans are good at adapting. We figure things out even when we don't understand them completely. Maybe we need to trust our instincts instead of our instruments. The next day, they tried a different approach. Instead of using complicated tools, they used simple ones. Instead of trying to understand everything, they just tried things to see what would happen. Sora put her hand on a section of the ship that seemed to pulse with energy. To everyone's surprise, the surface began to glow. It's responding to you, Minho said in amazement. Sora moved her hand to a different spot. The glow followed her movement. It's like it knows I'm here, she said. Woojin tried the same thing. The ship glowed for him too, but in a different color. It's reading us somehow, Nari realized. Our bodies, our electricity, our thoughts maybe. They spent hours experimenting. The ship responded differently to each person. It seemed to learn from their touch. This isn't just a machine, Minho said. It's almost like it's alive. Maybe that's how they built things, Jinwoo suggested. Maybe their machines are alive. On the 5th day after Minho's arrival, something changed. Sora was working on what they thought might be a control panel when the surface suddenly became warm under her hands. Something's happening, she called. Out. The section of the ship she was touching began to change. Lines of light appeared on the surface, forming patterns that looked almost like writing. Are those words? Woojin asked. I don't know, Sora said, but the ship is definitely trying to tell us something. The light patterns spread across the surface of the ship. Soon, the entire vessel was covered in glowing symbols. Then, they heard it. A sound that seemed to come from inside the ship. It was low and deep, like the ship was humming to itself. It's waking up, Nari whispered. The humming grew louder. The light patterns moved faster. The ship began to vibrate under their feet. Everyone back to camp, Jisoo ordered. Now! They ran, back to their safe distance, and watched as the alien ship came to life. The humming became a song. The lights became a dance. And deep inside the vessel, something began to move. What have we done? Minho asked. I think we've made contact, Jinwoo replied. As they watched, the ship's song changed. It became more complex, more beautiful. And somehow they all understood that it was trying to talk to them. The question was, what did it want to say? The alien ship's song continued for 6 hours. During this time, more and more sections of the vessel began to glow. The team watched from their camp as patterns of light moved across the ship's surface like water flowing over rocks. It's beautiful, Nari said. She had her camera ready, taking pictures of everything. It's also getting stronger, Jisoo warned. My instruments show energy levels rising inside that ship. Jinwoo made a decision. Everyone except essential personnel should move back to our landing ship. If this thing explodes, we need to be far enough away to survive. I'm staying, Nari said immediately. This is the discovery of a lifetime. I'm not missing it. Me too, Sora added. If this ship is trying to communicate, we need to be here to listen. Minho picked up his best recording equipment. I'm staying. As well, someone needs to document what happens. Jisoo shook her head. If you're all staying, then I'm staying too. Someone has to keep you safe. Woo Jin looked at his commander. Orders, sir? Jinwoo sighed. Take our ship back to a safe distance, stay in radio contact. If something goes wrong, don't try to rescue us. Just get back to Earth and tell them what happened. Woo Jin didn't like it, but he followed orders. Soon, the 5 remaining team members were alone with the awakening ship. As the hours passed, the changes became more dramatic. Sections of the ship that had been buried under millions of years of moon dust began to shake. The dust fell away like snow, revealing more of the ship's impossible architecture. Look at those curves, Minho said, pointing at newly revealed sections. They're perfect. No human machine could be built with curves that smooth. And look how the ship connects to itself, Sora added. Those sections shouldn't be able to fit together, but they do. The humming sound changed again. It became deeper, more complex. Sometimes it sounded like music. Sometimes it sounded like voices talking in a language they couldn't understand. I think it's trying different ways to communicate with us, Nari suggested, like it's testing what we can hear. Then something incredible happened. The ship began to move. At first, they thought they were imagining it, but as they watched, the massive vessel began to rise out of the crater. Tons of moon dust cascaded off its surface like waterfalls. That's impossible, Minho breathed. Something that big can't just float. But it did. The ship rose slowly and steadily into the black sky above the moon. As it climbed, more and more of its true size became visible. It's not just a ship, Jisoo said in amazement. It's a city. She was right. The vessel was enormous. It stretched for miles in every direction. There were sections that looked like they could house thousands of people. There were areas that might have been parks or gardens. There were structures that served purposes they couldn't even guess. How many people lived on this thing? Nari wondered. Where are they now? Sora asked. The ship stopped rising when it was about a mile above the moon's surface. It hung there in space, impossibly huge, impossibly beautiful. The lights on its surface pulsed in rhythm, like a heartbeat. It's stable, Minho reported, checking his instruments. Whatever keeps it floating is working perfectly. Sora had been working on something while they watched the ship rise. She had connected several of their radio systems together in a new way. I think I can talk to it, she announced. Talk to it how? Jinwoo asked. Mathematics, Sora explained. Math is the same everywhere in the universe. If I send mathematical patterns through our radio, maybe the ship will understand that we're trying to communicate. Try it, Jinwoo ordered. Sora began transmitting simple mathematical sequences. 2 + 2 = 4, the first 10 prime numbers, the value of pi. For a long time, nothing happened. Then the ship's lights changed. They began pulsing in mathematical patterns too. It's responding, Sora said excitedly. It's sending back mathematical proofs, complex ones. This intelligence is incredibly advanced. The mathematical conversation continued for hours. The ship sent increasingly complex equations. Sora did her best to understand and respond. It's teaching us, she realized. These equations, they're not just math, they're instructions, blueprints for technology. What kind of technology? Minho asked. Sora studied the patterns more carefully. Energy systems, propulsion, materials science. It's showing us how they built this ship. Why would it do that? Jisoo wondered. Before anyone could answer, the ship's communication changed again. This time it wasn't just mathematics. Words appeared on Sora's computer screen, words in perfect Korean. Hello, young builders, the message read. We have been waiting for you. The team stared at the screen in shock. It learned our language, Minho whispered. From our radio transmissions in just a few hours. Another message appeared. Do not be afraid. We are gone, but our knowledge remains. You have found our archive. Archive? Jinwoo said aloud. The ship responded immediately. Yes, Commander Park Jinwoo. This vessel contains the collected knowledge of our people. We built it to teach worthy species what we learned before we departed. How do you know my name? Jinwoo asked. We have been observing your world for many of your years. We know of your people's potential. You are builders like we were. This is why you can interact with our technology when others could not. Others? Nari asked. You mean other species have found ships like this? Many species have found archive ships. Most failed the tests. Some tried to use our knowledge for destruction. A few succeeded in learning, but could not surpass what we taught them. You are different. How are we different? Sora asked. You do not simply copy what you find. You improve it. You combine ideas in ways we never imagined. This is the mark of true builders. The team looked at each other with growing excitement and fear. What happens now? Jinwoo asked. Now you face the test. The ship replied. If you succeed, our knowledge becomes yours. If you fail, the archive will sleep again until another species finds it. What kind of test? Jisoo asked, her soldier's instincts making her suspicious. You must prove that you are worthy inheritors of our legacy. You must show that you can build something we could not. The test begins when you enter the ship. Section of the ship's hull began to change. An opening appeared, revealing a passageway filled with soft light. The entrance will remain open for one of your days, the ship continued. Choose carefully who will enter. Not all will be able to leave if you fail. The team stared at the entrance. It looked inviting and terrifying at the same time. What do you think? Jinwoo asked his team. I think we came here to explore, Nari said. This is the greatest exploration opportunity in human history. I think we have to try, Sora added. This knowledge could change everything for our people. I think it's dangerous, Jisoo warned. But I also think we can't walk away from this. I think we're about to find out what humans are really capable, Minho said. Jinwoo looked up at the massive ship floating above them. Somewhere inside that vessel was knowledge that could transform humanity's future. But first, they had to prove they deserved it. Then we go in, he decided. All of us, together. The test was about to begin. Walking into the alien ship felt like entering a dream. The walls glowed with soft light that seemed to come from the material itself. The air was clean and warm, even though they kept their spacesuits on just in case. How is there air in here? Jisoo asked, checking her instruments. The ship is generating it, Sora replied, amazed. It's creating a perfect atmosphere for us. It knew we were coming, Minho added. It prepared for human visitors. The passageway led them deeper into the ship. The walls curved in impossible ways. Sometimes they walked on floors, sometimes on what should have been ceilings, but somehow down always felt like down. The gravity changes as we move, Nari observed. It's like the ship adjusts itself to keep us comfortable. They entered a vast room that seemed to stretch forever in all directions. In the center of the room stood a column of light that pulsed with different colors. Welcome, builders, a voice said. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. I am the archive. I have waited 4 million years for minds like yours. 4 million years? Jinwoo repeated. Yes. That is how long this ship has been waiting. In that time, 846 other species have found archive vessels like this one. Most could not even enter the ships. Those who could enter usually failed the first test. How many tests are there? Sora asked. 3 tests. Each one more difficult than the last. Each one designed to measure a different aspect of what makes a species worthy of our knowledge. The room around them changed. The walls showed images of different creatures from across the galaxy. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien. These are the species who tried before you, the archive explained. Some were very intelligent. Some were very strong. Some lived for thousands of years and had technology you cannot imagine, but they all lacked something that you humans possess. What do we possess that they didn't? Minho asked. You build not just with your minds, but with your hearts. You create not just because you can, but because you must. You improve everything you touch. This is why you might succeed where others failed. The images faded and the room returned to its original state. The first test begins now, the archive announced. The floor in front of them opened up, revealing a complex puzzle made of light and energy. It looked like a three-dimensional maze, but the walls moved and changed constantly. This is a spatial reasoning test, the archive explained. You must guide an energy pattern through the maze to reach the center, but the maze follows rules that do not exist in your physics. How are we supposed to solve a puzzle that breaks the laws of physics? Jisoo asked. That is the test, the archive replied. Previous species tried to understand the rules first, then solve the puzzle. Most spent decades analyzing the maze and never found a solution. Jinwoo studied the shifting maze. What if we don't try to understand the rules? What do you mean? Nari asked. What if we just try things and see what happens? Humans are good at learning by doing. They approached the puzzle together. Instead of trying to analyze it, they began experimenting. Sora touched one section and watched how the maze responded. Minho tried touching a different section at the same time. It responds to multiple inputs, Minho observed. When we work together, we can control more of the maze. Look, Nari pointed out. The energy pattern isn't just following our commands, it's learning from them. It's adapting to what we're trying to do. They worked together, each person controlling different parts of the maze. Instead of fighting the strange physics, they learned to work with them. In just 2 hours, they guided the energy pattern to the center of the maze. Remarkable, the archive said. Most species take months to complete the first test, if they complete it at all. You did it by trusting each other instead of trusting only logic. The maze disappeared and a new challenge appeared. This one looked like a broken machine made of impossible materials. The second test, the archive announced. This device was damaged in an accident millions of years ago. It was built using technology that your science considers impossible. You must repair it. The team gathered around the broken device. It was beautiful and confusing at the same time. Parts of it seemed to exist in more than 3 dimensions. Other parts appeared to be made of solid light. I can't even figure out what this machine is supposed to do, Sora admitted. Maybe that's not the point, Jinwoo suggested. Maybe the point is to fix it without understanding it completely. They began working on the device, each using their own skills. Nari studied the materials. Sora analyzed the energy patterns. Minho worked on the mathematical relationships between the parts. Jisoo looked for structural weaknesses. Jinwoo coordinated their efforts. But as they worked, something unexpected happened. Instead of just repairing the device, they began improving it. Sora found a way to make the energy flow more efficiently. Minho discovered a mathematical formula that made the whole system more stable. Nari identified materials that could make the device stronger. You are not just repairing it, the archive observed. You are making it better than it was originally. Is that wrong? Nari asked. It is unprecedented, the archive replied. No other species has ever improved upon our designs. They either could not understand them or were too afraid to change them. When they finished, the device worked perfectly. But it was no longer the same machine. It was something new. Something that combined alien technology with human creativity. The second test is complete, the archive announced. Now comes the final test. This one is different from the others. The room changed again. This time, it became a workshop filled with materials and tools, some familiar, others completely alien. For the final test, you must create something, the archive explained. Something that has never existed before. Something that even we, the architects, never imagined. You must prove that you are not just users of technology, but true builders. The team looked at the workshop with excitement and fear. We can create anything? Sora asked. Anything, but it must be original. It must be something that advances the cause of building and creation. And it must work. They spent hours discussing what to build. Every idea they suggested, the archive told them, had been tried before by other species. We need to think differently, Jinwoo realized. We need to create something that only humans would think of. What makes human creation special? Nari wondered. We don't just make things that work, Minho said slowly. We make things that feel right. We add beauty to function. We create things that touch the heart as well as the mind. That's it, Sora said suddenly. Other species create with pure logic. We create with emotion too. What if we built something that combines logic and feeling? They began working on their creation. It was part machine, part art, part music. It used the alien materials in ways they were never intended to be used. It combined alien mathematics with human aesthetics. The device they created was beautiful to look at, amazing to hear, and incredibly useful. It could manipulate space and time like the alien technology, but it did so in patterns that created harmony and beauty. When they activated their creation, it filled the room with light and music and mathematical perfection all at once. The archive was silent for a long time. In 4 million years, it finally said, no species has created anything like this. You have combined function with beauty, logic with emotion, utility with art. This is something truly new. The room filled with golden light. You have passed all 3 tests, the archive announced. You are worthy to inherit our knowledge, but more than that, you are worthy to surpass us. Welcome, builders of humanity. The galaxy awaits your creations. The golden light in the room grew brighter, and the archive's voice carried a warmth that hadn't been there before. The knowledge of the architects is now yours, it said. But first, you must understand what this means. The walls around them became transparent, showing the vast interior of the ship. They could see rooms filled with incredible machines, libraries containing the wisdom of an entire civilization, and workshops where impossible technologies waited to be learned. This ship contains everything we discovered in our millions of years of existence, the archive explained. Technologies that can reshape matter, bend space and time, create energy from nothing. But with this knowledge comes responsibility. What kind of responsibility? Jinwoo asked. The responsibility to build wisely, to create, not destroy, to help other species grow, not to conquer them. This is the path of true builders. Images appeared in the air around them, showing planets across the galaxy. Some were beautiful worlds full of life. Others were dead, burned ruins. These dead worlds were destroyed by species who found archive ships but used the knowledge for war, the archive explained. They gained the power of the architects, but lost the wisdom to use it well. How do we know we won't make the same mistake? Nari asked. Because of what you created in the final test, the archive replied. Other species built weapons or tools of pure power. You built something that combined strength with beauty, function with feeling. This shows that you understand the most important lesson. True building creates harmony, not chaos. The ship began to change around them. Sections that had been closed opened up. Corridors that had been dark filled with light. The vessel was coming fully alive. The ship is bonding with you, the archive explained. It will respond to your thoughts and needs. It will teach you what you are ready to learn. But remember, this is not the only archive ship. A star map appeared in front of them, showing the locations of hundreds of other points of light scattered across the galaxy. There are archive ships hidden throughout the galaxy, the archive continued. Most have never been found. Others have been found but not awakened. A few have been claimed by species who proved themselves worthy, like you have done today. How many other species have passed the tests? Sora asked. Before you, only 12 species in the galaxy have proven themselves worthy inheritors. Most of them achieved this status millions of years ago. You are the newest members of a very exclusive community. What happened to the architects? Minho asked. Where did they go? We transcended physical existence long ago, the archive replied. We became something beyond matter and energy. But before we left, we scattered these ships across the galaxy so that younger species could learn what we learned. The star map zoomed in on their section of the galaxy, showing several archive ships located near human space. These ships are now yours to claim, the archive said. Each one contains specialized knowledge. This ship focuses on engineering and construction. Others contain knowledge of medicine, agriculture, artistic creation, or space exploration. Wu Jin's voice crackled over their radio from the distant landing ship. "Commander, are you all right? We've lost contact with Earth. Something is jamming our signals." Before Jinwu could answer, the archive spoke. "The jamming will stop soon. Your world's governments detected the energy signature when this ship awakened. They are sending military vessels believing you are under attack." "Are we in danger?" Jisoo asked, her hand moving to her weapon. "Not from us," the archive replied. "But your own people might fear what they do not understand. You must help them. See that this is an opportunity, not a threat." The ship's systems integrated with their equipment, allowing them to communicate directly with Earth. Within hours, they were speaking with world leaders, explaining what they had discovered. The response was mixed. Some leaders were excited about the possibilities, others were afraid. A few demanded that the technology be used for military purposes immediately. "This is exactly what the archive warned us about," Jinwu told his team during a private conference. "We have to be careful how this knowledge is shared." "Maybe we shouldn't share it at all," Jisoo suggested. "At least not right away." "No," Nari disagreed. "This knowledge belongs to all of humanity, not just us. But we need to make sure it's used correctly." They spent days debating how to proceed. The archive listened to their discussions and occasionally offered advice. "You are facing the same challenge that all worthy species must face," it told them. "How do you share transformative knowledge without causing chaos? How do you advance your people without destroying them?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Sora had been studying the ship's educational systems, learning how the architects had taught complex concepts to other species. "What if we don't give them the technology directly?" she suggested. "What if we teach them how to discover it themselves?" "Explain," Jinwu said. "The archive could release hints and partial information to scientists on Earth," Sora continued. "Give them enough to point them in the right direction, but let them work out the details themselves. That way, humanity develops the wisdom to use the knowledge at the same time they develop the knowledge itself." "That is very wise," the archive agreed. "It is similar to how we taught other successful species." They implemented Sora's plan. Over the following months, mysterious breakthroughs began happening in laboratories around the world. New materials were discovered that seemed impossible. Energy systems were developed that violated known laws of physics. Medical treatments were found that could cure diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries. Each breakthrough was presented as a human discovery, but guided by subtle hints from the archive ship. Humanity began to advance rapidly, but at a pace that allowed society to adapt to the changes. Meanwhile, the 5 crew members became the first human students of the archive. They learned to pilot the massive ship through space. They mastered technologies that seemed like magic. They prepared to become teachers for their own species. "It's time," the archive announced one day, almost a year after their first discovery. "Your people are ready for the next step." The ship moved from its position above the moon to a location in Earth's orbit where everyone on the planet could see it. Its appearance caused celebration and panic in equal measure. But instead of demands for surrender or declarations of conquest, the ship broadcast a simple message in every language on Earth. "People of Earth, you are not alone in the universe. You have proven yourselves worthy to join the community of builder species. We offer you knowledge, friendship, and the chance to help create a better galaxy for all living beings. The choice is yours." The response from Earth was overwhelmingly positive. Yes, there were some who feared the change, but most humans were excited about the possibility of joining a galactic civilization. Jinwu stood on the bridge of the archive ship, looking down at his homeworld. In just 1 year, humanity had gone from believing they were alone in the universe to becoming members of an ancient galactic community. "What happens now?" Nari asked, joining him at the viewing port. "Now, we explore," Jinwu replied. "The archive has given us the locations of other ships. Some are waiting to be awakened. Others might be inhabited by species that have already passed the tests. We'll learn from them and hopefully we'll teach them something too." Sora was working on the ship's navigation systems, plotting courses to distant stars. I've identified 12 archive ships within 50 light-years of Earth. We could visit all of them. And after that? Minho asked. After that, we keep building, Jinwoo said. We help other species the way the architects helped us. We create new things that have never existed before. We make the galaxy a better place for everyone. The archive. Ship turned away from Earth and activated its impossible engines. Space folded around them like origami, and they began their first journey to another star system. Behind them, Earth continued its rapid transformation. Humans were learning to build with alien wisdom, but in their own unique way. They were adding beauty to function, emotion to logic, and hope to knowledge. The galaxy had gained its newest species of builders, and the universe would never be the same. As they traveled through the folded space between stars, Jinwoo thought about how far they had come. They had started as a simple research mission to the moon. Now they were ambassadors for humanity to the entire galaxy. The young builders have arrived, he said quietly, remembering the archive's first words to them. Indeed they had. And they were just getting started.